Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Sports Wrap. I am your host, Frank Walsh, along with my friend and co-host, Michael Wigdor. And today we have a very special show because we have a very special guest. If you've watched us before, you know that he is one of the noted people around Stoughton. He has been the high school hockey coach for a number of years. And we normally bring Dan on around this time of the year because the Bruins are in the playoffs. They have a hard fight ahead of them with the New York Islanders. So we're going to be talking about that today. And also, as we are filming this, there is breaking news. The Celtics, Danny Ainge, the general manager, has retired. Brad Stevens is going to be taking his job. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about our Red Sox, who are a little bit hot and cold lately, but they're still right up in the top of the pack. And maybe if we have some time, we'll throw a little Patriots in there as well. So, first of all, Mikey, how you doing?
All right, Frankie, how you doing?
I'm doing well. And Dan, welcome to the show. So let's kick
Yes,
it off.
Dan.
What do you think about our Bruins?
Bruins, baby.
Well, I like the chances. The other night was kind of a heartbreaker.
It was.
But
Yeah.
I like the chances. I think it all depends on Tuca being healthy.
Yeah, I
He has
agree
some
with
back issues.
Yeah. What do you think about? I don't know. It just seemed to me in the overtime that at first that the Islanders had better chances, but then the Bruins picked it up and they had some good chances. But then I guess that's unfortunate pass across the middle. First of all, she had made that pass, and second of all, there was no way. I mean, could Tuca have been able to stop that?
It's so hard to say. I mean, it looks like an easy save, but he's usually really good on shootouts and everything too. So I was kind of surprised. He didn't really move like he normally does on that, but I don't blame him for that. That was an unfortunate bounce. I mean, the way I look at it is it's such a fine line between making a great play and being a goat. And it hit the back of Charlie Coyle's skate and creates a breakaway. You can't really predict that.
Right. Now, what do you think, what do you think happened in the locker room after that game? They were down 3-1. They put that big push with the special first line there, and then they, ended up losing it on a fluke play. What do you think happened in the locker room, being a coach? What happens after a game like that? And, how do the players rebound and come back after a game like that?
Well, I think they're going to look at the whole works. I mean, they didn't really play that well. I didn't think the whole game.
Right.
The first period. The second period was horrendous.
Yep.
I mean, that was bad a Bruins period I've seen. And they're pros. They're resilient. I mean, people like talk radio is famous for thinking that they're defeated. They're going to be really down. Whatever. They'll bounce back.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's another day, literally.
Okay.
You think they're going to make any changes in the next game?
Well, I don't think Jake DeBrusk is the answer on the right wing with Krejci and Taylor Hall. I kind of was hoping they were going to put Carson Coleman on there, even Jake Studnicka, somebody that's got some speed and some skill. DeBrusk, he's just a grinder. I don't think he's I don't think he's a kid they can really give up on. He's not that old, and I think they signed him a long-term deal. But that killed because then they only had one line.
Right.
What about Craig Smith? He's been hurt, and he made a key goal in the last series. But do you think I can say he's day to day?
Well, I believe I heard he had a Charlie horse, which doesn't sound like much. Most people associate Charlie horse as being like a cramp in your leg, but I actually ended up in the hospital once in college I got kneed in practice. I was in the hospital for almost a week. Ice from my groin all the way down to my ankle because it's like can cause a blood clot.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's what's going on with him, but a Charlie horse for hockey player is a pretty bad injury.
Explain something to me, just for my own curiosity. You keep hearing in hockey, and you don't hear it in any of the sports, an upper body injury and a lower body injury. There's a lot of territory there. What usually is a lower body injury or an upper body injury?
See, I mean, I wondered the same thing, but I think the big one with the lower body injury is probably the groin. Hockey players pull a lot of groins. I think that's a big thing with hockey players. They don't really get ankle sprains that often. That's very unusual. Knee sprains occasionally.
Yeah.
Upper body, your guess is as good as mine. I just don't. A lot of time it could just be a partial shoulder separation.
Yeah.
Which they recover pretty quickly from it. I can't think of what else it could possibly be.
I know, but it always bothered me that, not bothered, but it always made me curious as to what that was. Because, baseball, football, it's an ankle sprain or a knee brace or your shoulder, they specify it. But I was just curious about that from an expert there.
Well, even an upper body injury, I believe, also includes a concussion.
Really?
I think that's included within that because that's what Kevin Miller has.
Yeah.
And they said originally an upper body injury, and next it's described as a concussion.
Right. He might be coming back Thursday night, I heard.
I hope so. I'm amazed. I'm amazed at how he's playing. I mean, he's played well all year. And for a guy that's missed I think it's been 2 years at least with major knee surgeries.
He seems to be so snake bit for some reason. He comes back.
I know.
It's good. It's hurt. But
I agree with you.
You think Tuukka is going to be solid in goal? You think he's injured, like they were saying, maybe? Or
they won't play him if he's not solid. I mean, if he's physically not able to play, they're not going to play him. I mean, everybody's going to the Jeremy Swayman, bandwagon.
Yeah.
He's still he's a young kid. He had a bunch of good games down the stretch or whatever, but that's a lot of pressure to put on a kid. So I think they're going to stick with Tuukka as much as they can.
Right.
Okay.
But they do look good, though. I mean, the Islanders, you have to give them credit. People were saying, who would you rather see them play, Pittsburgh or the Islanders? And almost everybody I know right off the bat said the Islanders. But, remember the fact the Islanders beat them pretty handily the first 3 games, and it took a while for the Bruins to come back and get their numbers. So they've been playing pretty even since then. But, what do you think the biggest difference is between the two teams? What do you think is an advantage for the Islanders and an advantage for the Bruins?
Well, the Islanders, they seem to play 4 lines pretty regularly the other night. And I didn't think the Bruins played 4 lines as much. They did play 4 lines, but not as much.
Right.
That Barzell line's really good. I mean, I think the Barzell, Eberle, and I forget the other kid's name. That's a good line.
They have more depth.
But I'm not so sure they have more depth. I just don't think. I mean, it's just an outside, ignorant observation on my part. But it didn't seem like Cassidy played his 4th line as much as he normally would. And I tell you, I never blame officials, but that call on Carlo was terrible. They should have had matching penalties on that.
Yep.
I mean, that would have been an easy way. You're not ignoring it. Just call matching, done.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a killer.
I think what else hurt them the other night was the face-offs. They could not seem to win the face-offs. Marchand, who's normally pretty good, played a terrible game in the circle.
Yeah. I think you mean Bergeron.
I'm sorry, Bergeron.
Yeah, Bergeron. He's usually lights out with face-offs. He did struggle though. I'm guessing he'll probably do a lot better tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Who do you give the edge to? Who do you give the edge to in the series then? And who do you think's going to pull it out?
Well, I'm forever going to believe black and gold.
You think it's going to be a 6?
I think the Bruins can do it. I just think. I mean, I think the key is Miller coming back.
Yeah.
If Rask is healthy, I'd take Rask over either of the Islanders goalies. But Miller brings a lot of stability to that team. I mean, I thought one of their best defensemen other than Charlie McAvoy the other night was Connor Clifton. And that shouldn't be the case. I mean, I like the kid, but he's a 5th or 6th defenseman. And I thought he played really well. Mm-hmm. I think they do have more depth than the Islanders. I really do.
Right. Now, who would they play? They would play looks like they'd play Montreal, who upset Toronto. Is that looks like?
They'd play, the winner of Tampa Bay and
Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was surprised. Are you surprised that Montreal took out Toronto?
Yeah. I hate seeing Montreal win, but I also hate seeing Toronto win. So Toronto, 17 years they haven't gone past the first round. That's unbelievable. I can't think of any team in sports that's been that inept in the playoffs.
and they were up 3-1. They were
Yeah.
up 3-1. I mean, their fans must be going crazy, I guess. You know, they were saying
we have no
sense.
concept here what it's like in Canada
Oh.
with the hot. It's beyond belief.
Oh, yeah.
They're just rabid fans up there, no matter what the team.
Every game is a national holiday almost up there.
I was in Montreal at the time when they pulled out Patrick Roy after he got lit up for a bunch of goals, and then he never played again for Montreal. Oh my God! I thought there were going to be riots. The people were so angry.
I know. I mean, I can't relate to that, but I remember being over in France when a couple of times when they were playing the World Cup.
Yeah, it's like soccer. It's definitely like soccer in other parts of the world. I agree with you.
And France was, you know, just electric. I mean, at one point, after they won one of their games, I was, I forget what city or town I was in. They had a flatbed, an open truck, kind of a small flatbed truck, open, filled with guys, and they were shooting pistols and rifles into the air as they were driving down the street. You know? And that was just a winning a game, you know. And I happened to be there when they won the World Cup, and that's
wow.
I happened to be there, and I'll never forget that. But yeah, it's hockey is godlike in Canada. But anything you want to chat about the Bruins before we move on and maybe talk about the Red Sox a little?
Well, the only thing I think is, do you think that, I mean, someone else has to be a scorer on the Bruins besides the perfection line, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's where Craig Smith is a big part of the equation. If he gets back in there, that second line is as good as most first lines. So, I mean, Krejci's been playing on a different level altogether. But he hasn't scored either, though. He had plenty of opportunities. He had a couple the other night and didn't score. So, I mean, I think Craig Smith is a big or somebody. They're going to get – I just don't think DeBrusque is the answer in that line.
Yeah. Right. Hope it doesn't hurt him.
I mean, Charlie Coyle's done really well in the playoffs. He's been a clutch performer. He's put in a lot of goals. I think he said he's had 14 goals since he come to the Bruins. The playoffs had some sort of a visual on that the other night. Yeah. I would consider even putting him up there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get a hold of Charlie. He's my neighbor here in Weymouth, and I wish I had known. One of the clubs that I hang out with around the corner from my house is a big sports fan, Eddie Page. I know that you know him, Mike. And he had Charlie over there the other day. Charlie brought over one of his jerseys, and he signed it and framed it to put in the bar side of the restaurant bar. So he was over there. I wish I had known that. I would have loved to have gone.
He's the nicest kid. I don't know if you ever saw, there was a video of him when he was playing for Minnesota, and there was probably a 2 or 3 year old kid up against the plexiglass. He kept waving to Charlie. Charlie kept waving back to him, back and forth. It's awesome. He did the same thing the other day for the Bruins fan too. He just seems like a nice kid.
Hockey players of all the sports, the hockey players are the most personable. You know, they're the most regular guys.
Well, the Brady Tkachuk, who's pretty much hated by everybody, plays for Ottawa. They showed him, he did a dance off with a kid in warm-ups. It was so funny.
Really?
The kids in the bleachers doing all these dance moves, and Brady Tkachuk tried to one-up him. Kept going back and forth, back and forth. It was great.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right. I guess we should move on maybe to, want to go talk about our Red Sox, up and down Sox team?
Yeah. What do you think, Mikey?
I don't know. I'm very kind of disappointed. It's like if the pitching doesn't hold up, for some reason it seems like their hitting isn't going well either. It's almost like they both have to be in sync in order for them to win games. So they're not good. They're not a good comeback team from what I see. And right now, if they don't hit, they don't win.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with their offense. You know, they have faced some good pitchers, though. It seems like, you know, the pitching that they're facing is pitching them really tough.
Well, the Astros are a good team, I guess, but I've never heard of the guys that have beaten them in the last 2 games.
Well, the guy last night, I think he's won 4 or 5 in a row.
Oh,
and the pitcher before them was pitching well. But earlier in the season, they were croaking the best pitchers. You know, they were killing the best pitchers.
what do you think, Dan?
Well, it's funny, when the season first started, I was having flashbacks of when I was a kid watching them. They were so bad at the beginning of the season, then they turned it right around.
Yeah.
But I agree. I mean, their offense has been very, very erratic. Pitching has actually been decent, which I thought wasn't going to be the case, but they're definitely, it's been erratic with the batting.
Well, Bavetta has helped them a lot. You didn't expect him to pitch the way that he is. And that kid Richards, the kid who pitched last night, he only gave up a run.
Yeah, he's going to be a good pitcher.
He's pitching well. But it just seems like some of the better performances, they're snake bitten with the bat.
Well, Erod's really struggled too.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a feeling he's still suffering some COVID effects, maybe, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he had a washout for the month of May. I think he's 0-5, I believe.
Yeah,
or
I think he's 0-5.
I believe in May.
Yeah.
Not doing good.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. I was listening to Cora, the other guy who filled in for him the other day.
Oh shit.
Bench coach there and his assistant coach, and he was saying that it's his mechanics. Some of his mechanics are off. Some of the way he holds the ball, and that he's kind of lost his confidence a little bit. Because if you remember when he was going out there early and pitching well, he had a little swagger going on. You could see that confidence in him. But now it seems that has gone away, and he's pitching more defensively than offensively. So they're trying to work on him to have a little bit more swagger. And I also heard Will, the radio announcer, talking about it, and he was saying that last night, even though he didn't do not last night, the night before, even though he didn't do very well, that he pitched well. He was saying that some of the hits just found the holes, and and that he pitched a lot better than the end result. So, they're not giving up hope on him.
So it's not a question of his arm or anything like that, because
no. He has lost a little bit of his fastball. I guess that he went from like 94, 95 to like 91, 92. And that's a huge difference. That's the difference of, hitting a foul ball,
It's crazy that when you talk about that, when we were kids, that'd be like an incredible fastball. Now they drop down to 91. They think it's too slow. It's crazy how it works that way.
Well, who's that one guy? The guy with the long name, not Baumgartner, but whatever his name is. He's throwing at 102, 103.
Yeah, slow pitches are like 98.
Yeah, and he's
how does anybody see that? I thought the fact that Devers hit that home run off of Chapman when he threw 100-mile-an-hour.
When I was a kid, I remember playing Legion baseball against a kid that played. He ended up playing in the minor leagues. He threw in the low 90s, and all you could hear was, I mean, it's just guess. And those guys, it's amazing they can hit the ball.
I know.
Yeah. I faced I forget his name. You might remember him. Who was the kid from Norwood who went into the pros and did pretty well?
Yeah, Skip Lockwood.
Skip Lockwood. I faced Skip Lockwood a couple of times, and he was great. For that time he was great. But you can see the difference between him at the time and other pitchers. He knew how to pitch.
Exactly.
And he could throw it by you. And I think one of the games, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't pitch it against us, but I think in the tournament I was playing and he pitched a no-hitter. Because
the kid from Canton, Bobby Witt. He played for Canton High when I was the assistant baseball coach. It was amazing. He was a perfect combination. He threw fast. He had a good curveball. He was wild as hell.
Wow.
So kids went up to bat. They were petrified to get up against him.
Did he make it to the majors?
Oh, yeah. He had a long career with the Rangers. Pretty much a 500 pitcher.
Yeah. I remember when I was playing softball. I played, professional softball. And we had some ex-professional baseball players. And then we had some young studs. And there was this one kid. He played outfield for us. Tall kid. He was about 6'4", athletic build. and he had an arm for cannon. I mean, he could be out in deep right field, and you're tagging up from third, and he'd throw you out by a step. He had a cannon for an arm, and he played baseball, and he got a tryout down in Pawtucket for the Red Sox. And I guess what they were doing back then, this goes back maybe 20 years ago, I guess you go down there and you play an inning. I guess, you pitch to 3 live batters. And he was clocked at 92. He struck out 2 batters, and I think the third batter grounded out. And he never heard from them. Never heard from them. They just dismissed him and said, okay, yeah, we'll get back to you. But again, 91, 92, struck out 2 out of 3, and they never looked at him again.
I played a fundraiser game against the King in his court. You ever play against the King in his court? Eddie Feiner.
Eddie Feiner. Did you ever see him?
Yeah, but I mean, he threw it so fast, and he was like, I think 60-something years old, 70 years old at the time. And it was just a blur.
Second base. He used to strike guys out from second base.
He threw it so hard. You didn't even know it was coming. I fouled one off, and I felt like $1 million because I started swinging before he even released the ball, and I lucked out and hit the ball.
Yeah. I faced a guy. We were in a tournament, and we were playing this team, and we played modified fast, meaning that you could do anything but break your elbow.
Right. I played that
too. And, you could still throw the ball pretty hard. So anyway, we were playing in this tournament, and they relaxed the rules. So they brought in this little kid who's like a little African guy. He must have been like, I don't know, 5'6", 5'7", I don't know, small little guy, very petite build. We were watching him warm up, and the first thing we said is that this guy's illegal because he was bending his elbow, he was whipping it, the
right.
He was throwing whip. And so they relaxed the rules for this guy. And I was playing for an all-star team with, like I say, ex-pro ball players and everything. And at the end of 7 innings, we were sitting on the bench bragging about getting a foul ball. He no-hit us. Wow. He no-hit us. And it would be like facing the 1956 Yankees. And he pitched a no-hitter against us. Very few guys even hit the ball. I think he like 21 outs. I think he struck out like 17. I faced him twice, and I never even saw his fastball. Never saw it. Never saw it. And then he come up the second time, and I actually got a foul tip off him. And then he threw me a changeup, and honest to God, I was swinging before the ball left his hand. I had enough time to bring the bat back and almost hit it the second time.
I believe it.
Right. Like these pitchers, you wonder how they face a Randy Johnson or, Clemens and even Pedro. You wonder how you can even see the ball going by.
Especially when they have such great control. Like every pitch, their changeup looks like their fastball when they're in the same windup. You know what I mean? They throw people off.
I think the big story this year in Major Leagues is that pitcher that plays out and hits bat. I think he leads off. He's got like 10 home runs. What's it, O'Hara?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The guy.
He's unbelievable. What a story.
Yeah.
They call him Mini Babe Ruth.
He's unbelievable.
He is. Well, believe it or not, we are running out of time. We just have a minute or 2 left. And, our shows have been going really quickly lately, Mikey.
I know, really fast, especially since we didn't get to the Celtics. Good luck to Brad Stevens and good luck to Danny Ainge leaving.
I know. It's a lot.
I hope they get a good coach.
Just quickly, Dan, 30 seconds or so quickly, what do you think of all the Patriots moves, and what do you think the Pats are going to be this year?
They've made some pretty good moves. I think it all depends on who they want to put at quarterback.
Exactly.
Who do you think it's going to be?
I'm thinking it might start off with Cam Newton, but I think Mac Jones is going to be moving right in there.
I
think so as well.
I hope so. Hope you're right.
All right. By the way, one last thing, one shameless plug. National champs right here, baby.
UMass, that's right. Congratulations.
That's right.
My alma mater.
Congratulations.
Oh, that was your alma mater. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we also got BC winning the the girls team.
Yeah, I don't have a shirt for that.
They won the lacrosse.
Yeah.
But well, Dan, once
Okay.
again, it's
Thanks,
always
Dan.
great to have you on the show. You bring a lot to the table, and
My
we only
pleasure.
wish that the show was longer.
Mike Wigdor,
And Frank Walsh, we will see.
and see you down the road.